The Traveler and the Thief. A long time ago, a traveler carried a beautiful ebony spool of silver silk thread across the desert dunes. At sunset, he held his spool to his chest and whispered, "I will love you forever, Darcy." He set up camp on cool sands under pale moonlight and glistening stars. He gathered his pack to the side and withdrew his canteen, dagger, and rations for the night. The city of Sicaria stood tall, like a sentinel at the end of the mountain path where he would travel tomorrow. Sinking onto a sleeping rug, the traveler performed his ritual and wadded his robe into a pillow. He set his silk thread next to his head, breathed deep, and drifted to sleep. Awakening, the traveler patted the ground lazily beside his head. Something cold, hard, and circular pressed against his palm. He shot up and dropped the thing in his bleary-eyed search, but his spool of thread was gone. Had it rolled off my bedroll? The traveler groggily considered. No, I chose flat ground, and the winds were too light. Perhaps it were taken by a desert fox. The rascals. But a fox wouldn't take a silver thread when the traveler's jerky or camel milk smelled so delicious. His fingers hooked up a gold coin from the same spot his thread had sat. The traveler squinted at the coin, and his eyes trailed to the walled city of Sicaria. Its light blue temple loomed over the market and the slums surrounding the walls. The traveler packed his bedroll, pillow, and remaining food. He quickly departed for the city. As the gates creaked open to admit him, a sweet buttery aroma wafted past his nose. He followed the scent into the bakery and noticed the baker cutting an elegant cake with a familiar silk thread. "You thief! That's my thread!" "Thief?" said the baker. "Me? Heavens no! No, I'm only a humble baker. I was given this thread to cut layers into this wedding cake. The thread is much better than a knife, you know?" "Who gave my thread to you?" "A young woman who's getting married today. She seemed to be in quite a rush, being her wedding day, of course. She's mentioned going to the kilt merchant next, which was about 10 minutes ago." The traveler rushed out in search of the young woman. A display of intricate coverlets adorned the display around the merchant's shop. A glint of silver snatched his attention. His thread wrapped around a pile of quilts near the door. "Hey, that's my thread!" "Your thread?" the merchant replied. "But it was just given to me by this young lady to pack her kilts for the wedding. How can it be yours?" "She stole it from me." "Ah, that is unfortunate, my friend. Would you like it back?" "If it's yours, I don't want to keep it. But if you wouldn't mind me borrowing it so I can deliver these kilts to the wedding first, I'd be much obliged." The traveler gazed upon the silk thread used to wrap the kilts and thought about the thief's wedding. "There can't be a lot left now." "You can keep it, but please tell me where she went. I need to find her." "She mentioned she was heading toward the seamstress next and left in a rush about 5 minutes ago." The traveler sucked air through his teeth, thanked the merchant, and quickly exited. "She's close." He wandered hurriedly for the seamstress and happened upon a boutique full of vibrant fabrics. The traveler hurried in. "Is that thief here? Where's my thread?" "Thief?" said the seamstress. "There are no thieves here, sir. I assure you. Who are you talking about?" "Did a young woman give you some silk thread recently?" "Why, yes, actually," the seamstress said, taken aback. "I used some of the lovely thread to finish her wedding dress. Would you believe she woke me up in the middle of the night to complete it? How could I tell her no on her wedding day? Poor thing." "Where is she now? I need to find her before all of my thread is gone." "She mentioned wanting to pray to the gods before her wedding and probably went to the eternal flame at the central fountain. She left a few minutes ago. The traveler murmured thanks and rushed outside. He weaved between hawkers and food stalls, attempting to locate his stolen spool. Smells of fried okra, roasted garlic, and caramelized sugar assaulted his senses. His eyes flashed to every piece of clothing he saw, but none displayed his precious silk thread. Finally, the traveler discovered a marble fountain with streams of water sprouting from the mouths of gargoyles, angels, and demons. A woman sat on a stony ledge beneath the statues. An ivory dress draped over her arm, and the morning light glimmered against its exquisite pattern of sewed silver thread. Her fingers tapped rapidly against what little remained of his silver silk thread spool. He clenched his jaw and marched to her. Violent words that would offend the gods swirled through his mind. The woman held out the ebony spool, a shield against his wrath. She stared at him with eyes like saucers. He snatched it up, and her head dropped low. Rage shook his voice. "How dare you, wench! Do you have any idea what this means to me? I should chop off your hands." He waved the ebony spool in front of her button nose and rosy cheeks. "Why did you steal this, of all my possessions?" "I'm so sorry," the thief replied. "I really didn't want to, but I'm getting married. Today and yesterday, everything went wrong. The baker said if he cut our custom cake with knives, it would crumble apart. The merchant said she couldn't move all the quilts for the guests without something to hold them all. The seamstress said she ran out of silver thread to finish the skirt of my dress. There was no time. I asked the stars for a solution, and they led me outside of the town, to you." The eternal flame created by the fire gods, and given to Sakaria for their devout faith, reflected off the fountain pool behind her. "You slept next to your silk thread," she said. "Illuminated under the gleaming moon, I saw the answer. I thanked the stars and left the gold coin for payment, but I see it wasn't enough. Please forgive me, sir. I didn't mean any harm. I know it was wrong of me, and I promise I won't do it ever again." The traveler fixed his frown in place, while in his mind he reeled onto his back foot. Her plight sparked genuine sympathy. Darcy would do the same if she were in the thief's sandals. He glanced at his tiny spool. A few thin silver lines curled around patches of the dark ebony spool beneath. So little silk left. The thread was all he had left of Darcy, his love and light. She was almost gone. Her memory dwindled, her connection to him unwinding. A swell of tears reflected in the thief's eyes. He realized his angry frown had not faltered. "Someone precious gave this to me," he said. "Someone who won't return. My Darcy. The reason my heart beats, why I continue to follow the stars, why I still live. This is all I have left of her because of you. What you did was unforgivable." He stormed away. Her head hung low. The thief clutched her wedding dress and cried by the fountain. The groom sauntered between the flower fields. He touched the petals with his fingertips as he watched the final preparations for his wedding come to fruition. This day was a childhood dream that formed the moment a pebble left his fingers long ago. He'd only wanted to gain the attention of a raggedy girl. The pebble bounced off her head, and boy did he pay the price for that. When she caught him, his back was glued to a cracked wall. She kicked him in the shins until he fell to the ground and hit his head so hard that he fell in love. "You, boy!" An agitated man approached the groom. "Are you getting married today?" the traveler asked. The groom bounced with giddy excitement. "I sure am. I've been waiting a long time for this day, and it's finally happening." "Oh, and are you sure you found the right person? Trustworthy, loyal, caring?" "All that and more," said the groom. "She's kind, smart, really cute, and a bit brash at times, but I like that," he chuckled. The traveler grunted. Don't I know it? Excuse me? Never mind, said the traveler. She sounds a lot like my Darcy. A note of sadness broke through his agitation. I heard about your wedding, and I brought you a gift. Sir, that's awfully kind of you, but you don't need to. No, I want to. Please take this. The groom took an ebony spool from the traveler. A small winding of silk thread was all that remained on it. My wife started spinning thread on this spool the first day we met as kids, the traveler said. His demeanor softened as the memories returned. She knew one day we would marry. It's only a matter of time, she would say in her scary teenage voice. Each day she added a little more silver thread to this spool to see how long it would take me to ask. Then I finally worked up the courage. I read bad poetry outside her house for an hour, and she listened, shaking her head the whole time. The traveler's head lifted, but his eyes were glazed in the past. She said, took you long enough, and left me at the door waiting, no answer. Would you believe it? The groom chortled. She came back, thanked the gods, and gave me this beautiful spool full of silver silk thread, largest spool I'd ever seen. She told me, this thread represents all the time you dawdled. You'll need to put it to good use when we marry. So is that a yes? I asked. She said, duh. Now then, any idea what you will use that thread for? I have many ideas myself. The traveler paused. Tears formed in his eyes. He wiped them away before they could fall. After her death, the traveler said, I stopped using it. I couldn't lose her completely. The traveler stared longingly at the thread. But I know she wouldn't want that. The groom held the spool with a new admiration. The intensity of the traveler gave no room for refusal of his gift. I promise to use the rest of it in her honor. I'm happy to hear it, young man. Now then, just one more thing. The groom raised an eyebrow. Yes? The traveler dipped his head and smoothly glanced once more at the last of the silk thread. Darcy gazed back at him from within this remnant of his past. Her smile urged him to let go. He smiled back and put his hand on the groom's shoulder. I need you to give your wife a message. The thief watched the spot where the traveler had disappeared until the crowd grew with late morning busyness and pulled her from her daze. Her head bent low. She wandered the opposite way. Was she sorry to strip the remaining threads of his love's gift? Yes. But sorry for using the spool as she did? She had yet to decide. Under the bright sun and downy clouds, a slight breeze fluttered the ivory dress in her arms. Its long sleeves flopped against her legs as she hurried into the bridal tent. Lacing of colorful birds, flowers, insects were stitched into the skirt and looked as if they were in motion. The thief donned her wedding dress. She couldn't have asked for a better wedding day. A whirl of emotion squeezed around her, tighter than the pure white bodice. Full of regret and guilt, hope and expectation, the thief journeyed to her groom. She finally reached her beloved at the end of the aisle, and the whirlwind of emotions melted. She smiled at his silly, handsome face. He returned it wholeheartedly. The ring bearer trotted up and presented their wedding rings. Plucking out her gold ring, the groom hung it from his finger by a loop of silver silk thread. Familiar. She bowed her head to accept the woven silk necklace. The new wedding ring pendant settled against her chest. She touched the shining string. "Where did you get this silk thread?" she whispered. "A kind traveler gave it to me earlier. I've never seen him before, but he asked me to give you a message." "Me?" "Yes." She braced herself. "What did he say?" Her groom blushed. "He said it's what Darcy would have wanted.